Success is predictable when you understand the laws that govern it. This truth shatters one of the most popular myths we've been sold, the myth that talent alone guarantees success. Every day we see gifted singers vanish after one hit, brilliant athletes fade after a single season, and promising entrepreneurs give up at the first sign of resistance. Talent draws attention, yes, but it is not the foundation of greatness. It is merely a spark, and sparks fade quickly unless they ignite something greater. Here's the harsh reality: the world is filled with talented failures. People who had potential, people who were told they were born to win, yet they ended up losing. Why? Because talent is never enough. Success, contrary to what many believe, is not a mystery. It's not reserved for the lucky few. It is governed by laws, universal principles that, when applied consistently, yield results. And the sooner we stop relying on raw talent and start aligning with these laws, the sooner we begin to see measurable, sustainable success. 1, the law of discipline. Discipline is the bridge between talent and achievement. It doesn't matter how talented you are if you don't have the ability to control your actions. Discipline is the ability to give yourself a command and follow through with it, regardless of how you feel. Talent gives you a head start, but discipline determines whether you finish the race. Ask yourself this: can I consistently do what needs to be done even when I don't feel like it? If the answer is no, then talent is irrelevant. Discipline is the force that takes dreams from imagination to reality. It is the secret sauce of every successful person who ever lived. 2, the law of vision. Talent may get you noticed, but vision keeps you focused. Without vision, talent has no direction. Vision gives you clarity about where you're going. It defines your destination and gives meaning to your struggle. People without vision are like ships without a compass. They drift, regardless of how powerful their engines are. Vision is more than a dream. It's a clear picture of your desired future. It answers the question, what am I becoming? And once you have that answer, you can align your daily decisions with that future. Talent without vision is potential wasted. 3, the law of purpose. Purpose is the why behind everything. It's the reason you exist, the engine behind your energy, and the compass that gives your life direction. When you understand your purpose, you stop wasting time. You become intentional. You stop saying yes to every opportunity and begin saying yes only to the right ones. Many talented people fail because they never ask the question, why am I doing this? Without purpose, talent becomes a tool for distraction instead of a weapon for impact. Purpose fuels passion, and passion fuels persistence. When you're tired, it's purpose that keeps you going, not talent. 4, the law of consistency. One of the most underrated ingredients of success is consistency. Not explosive effort, not sudden brilliance, just showing up and doing the work day after day. Talent can perform in spurts, but success belongs to the consistent. Think about the sun. It doesn't burn the brightest in the sky every moment of the day, but it shows up every day without fail. That's consistency, and that's what builds momentum. Success comes to those who do the right things repeatedly, not occasionally. Talent may win applause, but consistency wins legacy. 5, the law of time management. Time is the most evil resource on the planet. Everyone gets 24 hours a day, no more, no less. What separates successful people from unsuccessful ones is not talent. It's how they use their time. Time management is really self-management. It's the art of protecting your priorities. Successful individuals understand that every moment they waste is a moment they can never recover. They schedule their lives around their vision. They say no often. They guard their focus. They live with urgency, not because they're panicked, but because they are intentional. Talent may give you options, but how you manage your time determines which options become outcomes. 6, the law of character. Character is the foundation of all sustainable success. Talent can take you to the top, but only character can keep you there. Integrity, responsibility, humility, these are not glamorous traits, but they're essential. Without them, success becomes a trap. We've all seen people rise quickly, only to fall faster because their character couldn't support the weight of their success. They had talent, but they lacked integrity. They had skill, but no accountability. They knew how to perform, but not how to lead themselves. Character is doing what's right when no one is watching. And in the long run, it's what keeps success from turning into self-destruction. 7, the law of sacrifice. Every successful person has paid a price. Sacrifice is not optional, it's inevitable. You cannot have success without giving something up, whether it's time, comfort, sleep, relationships, or distractions. Something has to go. Talent often makes people arrogant. They believe they're entitled to results without effort. But the truth is, every breakthrough is paid for in advance. Success demands trade-offs. The question is, what are you willing to let go of to reach your full potential? You can't hold on to everything and still move forward. To rise, you must release. Now that we've exposed the myth of talent and laid the groundwork with the 7 fundamental laws: discipline, vision, purpose, consistency, time management, character, and sacrifice, let's go deeper. Let's talk about activation. Because knowing the laws isn't enough. You must apply them. You don't attract success just because you're aware of what success requires. You attract it when your life begins to reflect these principles. The moment you start practicing the laws, momentum begins to build. And here's what separates the doers from the dreamers: execution. 1, aligning vision with daily action. Vision must be translated into strategy. It's not enough to have a big dream. You need a plan. Every day should become a small expression of your larger vision. That's how you build alignment between who you are today and who you want to become. Take 5 minutes each morning to review your vision and ask, what can I do today to move one step closer? Small steps lead to big change when taken consistently. Your talent might give you multiple interests, but your vision helps you choose which ones are worth pursuing. Without alignment, you scatter your energy. With alignment, you compound your results. 2, discipline as a lifestyle, not a moment. Discipline doesn't just show up when you feel motivated. It's built through routine. One of the fastest ways to activate discipline is to establish non-negotiables in your day. These are the actions you do regardless of how you feel. Things like waking up early to reflect or plan, blocking time for focused work, turning off distractions during peak productivity hours. When you repeat these actions long enough, they form habits. And when discipline becomes a habit, your performance becomes predictable. That's when your talent starts producing results, because now it's directed and refined. 3, purpose-driven decision-making. Purpose helps you say no to the wrong things. It cuts through confusion and helps you identify what aligns with your identity and long-term goals. Talented people often get overwhelmed because they say yes to every offer, every gig, every opportunity. But here's the truth. Not every opportunity is meant for you. When your decisions are driven by purpose, you start filtering your choices through a powerful question. Does this move me closer to who I want to become? That one question can protect you from years of misdirection. Talent may bring options. Purpose helps you choose the right ones. 4, Consistency builds confidence. People often think confidence comes from talent, but real confidence comes from consistency. When you do something repeatedly, your brain starts to trust your ability to deliver. That trust becomes confidence. If you've ever doubted yourself, it's not because you lacked talent, it's because you lack consistent proof that you could perform. Start small. Pick one thing to do every day, no matter what. A short journal entry, a 10-minute workout, a 30-minute deep work session. Keep a success log. Watch it grow. Over time, your confidence will become unshakable, not because you're special, but because you're dependable. 5, protecting time with boundaries. Time management is really about boundary management. You can't control the clock, but you can control your access. Who gets your time? What gets your focus? Where does your energy go? If you don't manage your time, the world will. Notifications, calls, emails, distractions, they will consume your hours and rob you of your potential. The key is to guard your time like it's gold. Because it is. Here's a quick activation tip. Start time blocking. Set appointments with yourself just like you would with a client or boss. Use those blocks for deep, focused work on your vision and treat them as sacred. The world honors those who respect their own time. 6, character in private, not just in public. Character isn't developed on a stage. It's developed in silence, in the moments when no one is watching, in the choices you make when no one will ever know. The best way to activate the law of character is through accountability. Find someone who isn't impressed by your talent, someone who cares about your growth, and give them permission to challenge you. Also, create private standards that are higher than your public image. If you hold yourself to a higher standard behind the scenes, you'll never be shaken when pressure hits. You'll become solid, grounded, immovable. Character is your root system, and the deeper your roots, the higher you can grow. 7, strategic sacrifice. Sacrifice without strategy is just pain, but sacrifice aligned with purpose produces results. Every time you say no to comfort, no to shortcuts, no to easy pleasure, you create space for progress. You can't do everything, so stop trying. Focus on what matters most. Sacrifice is about choosing what to let go of so you can rise into what you're meant to become. Here's a practical exercise. Write down the things you know are costing you progress. Late nights, distractions, toxic people, unfocused routines. Then create a replacement plan. Don't just eliminate. Replace with actions that serve your growth. Sacrifice hurts, yes, but it also sharpens. The compound effect of principles. Here's where the power multiplies when you start activating these laws together. They form a system, a lifestyle, not just isolated actions, but a flow of consistent decisions that build upon each other. Your vision clarifies your purpose. Your purpose filters your decisions. Your discipline powers your habits. Your consistency builds confidence. Your time management creates focus. Your character earns trust. Your sacrifices create space for elevation. When you begin to live this way, success becomes less of a mystery and more of a strategy. You stop chasing and start creating. Achieving success is hard. Sustaining it, that's where most people fail. Why? Because the pressure changes. The responsibilities increase. The spotlight gets brighter. And unless your foundation is solid, what once looked like success can quickly turn into stress, burnout, or even collapse. This is why many talented people shine briefly and then fade. They were prepared for the breakthrough, but not the burden. They could rise, but not remain. But here's the truth. Success is not a moment, it's a lifestyle. And if you want to sustain it, you must master the internal systems that protect it. Let's talk about the 5 keys to sustaining success without compromise, burnout, or losing your core. 1. Self-mastery over skill mastery. Talent focuses on what you can do. Success focuses on who you are becoming. Sustained success begins with mastering yourself, your emotions, your thoughts, your behaviors, your attitude. This is what gives you long-term stability. External accomplishments mean nothing if your internal world is in chaos. It's self-discipline, not external validation, that keeps your momentum alive. When your success becomes dependent on applause or approval, it becomes fragile. Here's the shift. Stop managing outcomes. Start managing you. Wake up with structure. Journal your thoughts. Reflect on your wins and losses. Learn how to regulate your focus and energy. That's self-mastery, and that's what keeps you sharp when others are falling apart. 2, mastering the boring work. You want to know what separates professionals from amateurs? Professionals fall in love with the process, especially the boring parts. They don't just show up when it's exciting. They show up when it's repetitive, dull, and demanding. The danger of talent is that it thrives on thrill. It loves the stage, the spotlight, the high-stakes moments. But long-term success is built in silence, through hours of uncelebrated work. When you learn to find purpose in the repetition, you become unstoppable. Because while others are waiting to feel motivated, you're building mastery. Sustainable success is found in your relationship with the mundane. 3, continuous improvement as a lifestyle. You don't rise to the level of your potential, you fall to the level of your systems. Sustained success depends on continuous growth. If you stop learning, you start declining. The world evolves, industries shift, expectations change, so must you. Build a lifestyle of learning. Read daily, even if it's just 10 minutes. Review your results weekly. Seek feedback from mentors or peers. Stay curious about yourself and your craft. The most dangerous mindset is, I've made it. Because the moment you stop growing, you begin slipping. It may not be obvious at first, but over time, stagnation always shows up in performance. Your talent won't save you if your mindset stays stuck. Evolve, expand, adapt. 4, energy management over hustle culture. Sustainability isn't about working harder, it's about working smarter. Talent often burns fast because it tries to maintain energy through adrenaline, deadlines, and approval. But that fuel runs out. Real performers build systems that preserve and replenish energy. They sleep intentionally. They eat to fuel, not just to satisfy. They schedule rest as seriously as work. They know their peak performance hours and protect them. Burnout is not a badge of honor. It's a sign of broken strategy. You need rhythms, not just rushes. Create routines that respect your energy cycles. Treat your energy as a currency, not a limitless resource. Because no matter how talented you are, exhaustion will kill execution. 5, identity anchored in values, not achievements. One of the most overlooked keys to sustained success is identity. When your identity is based on what you do, every failure feels personal. Every delay feels like defeat. You start measuring your worth by your wins. That's dangerous. But when your identity is rooted in values, principles like growth, excellence, resilience, integrity, your stability increases, because those things don't change with circumstances. Sustained success requires a clear sense of who you are, regardless of your performance. Ask yourself, who am I without my achievements? What values will I hold on to no matter how high I rise? What lines will I not cross, even if no one is watching? These questions keep your success clean. They protect your core, bringing it all together. So let's step back and look at the full journey. 1, talent is not enough, because talent is only potential. 2, the laws of success: discipline, vision, purpose, consistency, time management, character, and sacrifice are what convert potential into performance. 3, activation of these laws is where transformation begins. You don't get results from information. You get them from execution. 4, sustainability is the final test. Success that can't be maintained becomes a trap. The keys to sustaining success are self-mastery, process focus, continuous improvement, energy management, and identity rooted in values. When you commit to this kind of life, success stops being something you chase. It becomes something you create, something you live, something that grows with you rather than burns you out. Remember, success is predictable when you understand the laws that govern it. You are not limited by your talent. You are limited only by your willingness to grow, to align, and to commit to the process. Success isn't for the most gifted. It's for the most governed. Govern your habits, govern your focus, govern your decisions,